Well, hello YouTube. This video is actually going to be a response to another YouTuber. His name's Edward Tyndall, and he has an awesome channel. And he was asking me about my plum trees. And I'm going to show you guys his channel right here. And definitely go check him out. It's Edward Tyndall. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification on there. And he's got an awesome the thing I like about his channel is he's into more things than he has time to video them. I swear. I mean, last week he tried to capture a swarm of bees. He's got a pool that he turned into a fish pond. He's got aquatic plants growing in there. Today he just went down to his back property where he's got a huge garden that he's working on. And on the way he's got a place he mowed out in the shape of an alien head. He's got kiwis he planted 7 years ago, just introduced a male, and he's finally getting fruit after waiting 7 years. First year of fruiting. And the thing I like about him is he's got a food forest going on of, I think what he said was wild plums. And I asked him about his plums, and he wanted to know about mine. So I'm going to show you guys my plums, and actually I'm going to be showing him through my YouTube channel. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I haven't done one on my plums, I don't think, ever. But this one right here is a Methley plum. Go ahead and check out Methley plums, because I think they're actually some of the best plums. The only problem is in my area they get the black stuff on them, like the fungus that messes with most prunus trees, cherry trees, and plums. The only things that don't get them around here is like native black cherry and native plum. This one here is like a cross between European and Japanese. And I planted it a long time ago. Half of it died on me, and I'm kind of trying to straighten it out and let it turn back into a tree. But it's actually fruited before. Now this one right here is a Santa Rosa plum that is huge. Puts on a ton of fruit every year, but it flowers too early last 2 years, and I haven't gotten any. And there's an awesome replacement growing out of what I think is probably the roots. I don't know, I plant the pits all around the base of the trees as replacements. And there's another little guy, I just noticed him popping up, this guy right here. So he's either growing out of the roots as a sucker, you know, from the mother tree, or I planted a pit here, I'm not really sure, but I like that because eventually it'll create a forest, a food forest. And Edward Tyndall actually mentioned that his wild plums do the same thing. They sucker, and I have some wild plums too. I have a couple different types, some doing better than others. I'm going to show you. But yeah, Edward Tyndall's channel, he does a lot of stuff about boa constrictors and pythons. He's got a bunch of retics and a Burmese python. I think he's got a Burmese python. I know he's got 2 reticulated pythons, but he's got tarantulas, tons of tarantulas, and Pac-Man frogs, and he does a lot of live feeding. So if you're not into that type of stuff, you might be offended by what you see, because hey, it's nature, and that's what he does. He feeds animals to his animals. And if you're, like I said, if you're offended by that, stay clear. But other than that, if you know, he's got an awesome channel, and he's doing more stuff than I see a lot of other YouTubers doing. The guy, I'm pretty sure his house is even 2 metal storage containers stacked on top of each other that he's working on. And he's an awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. Definitely check him out. Tell him I sent you. But I wanted to give him a shout out. We were talking about the plums that we have and stuff like that. And this is a video in response to him. Now I have a Santa Barbara plum right here that I planted last spring. It's doing okay. I don't know, some of the top growths died back, but it's growing back. But here's that scabby, I don't know that exact name of it. I've looked it up at one time, but yeah, if it's a prunus, if it's a pit fruit that's not native to here, this is what'll, most of the time, the issues that it'll have, other than peaches and nectarines. That's why peaches do so good down in the south. Now I'm going to try to, I don't want the video to go too long, I'm going to try to move along as fast as I can. This is another Santa Rosa plum that I planted right over here. I don't think I've got any over there. Let's see, autumn olives over there, blueberries. I've got an apple, here we go. I've got an apricot. And I just noticed I was mowing in here, and I noticed a bunch of the Jerusalem artichokes are popping up, and I tried to mow around them. and it kind of reminds me of Edward Tyndall's alien head that he mowed out right there. But eventually you'll see it'll start growing up, and you'll see I've got those in there. This is a little scrawny apricot that's struggled ever since I put it in there. But here's another one of those methley plums. Now the methley plums are awesome because it's like a blood plum. When you bite into it, the flesh is darker than the skin. The skin's like an orangish red, and it's like bloodish purple on the inside. It's so sweet. It is one of the best tasting plums I've ever had. And this is one of these methley plums. Now it also has some issues with that scab. I've noticed it in a few spots. And check this out. Little praying mantis egg sac. But I'm going to keep going a little bit. Here's a wild plum that I've got. And these do the best. I dug this up and I planted these here when they were really little. When they were little suckers off of a bigger tree. And these ones do the best. They don't flower until later on. And I like them the most. And I don't know what kind they are. But here's another plum tree. This one right here is one of those wild plums. This is a wild Chickasaw plum that I bought from a nursery that hasn't done as good as everything. I don't know if it is a Chickasaw plum or not. I don't know. I can't wait to see what the fruit does. But I really don't care because I planted this before I planted this one. And I dug this one up from the ground, and it's done even better. So I'm actually liking these wild native plums a little bit more. Let's see if I've got any plums in here. I know I've got a bunch of peach trees. I got a plum back there in the corner. Oh, I'm sorry. Keep scaring that little birdie out. Oh, here's some of these wild plums. And they've got little fruits on them that are really good and really sweet. Here's another wild plum. This one here is about 10 feet tall. It's doing fantastic. I just let these kind of grow in a bush. Here's a Santa Rosa plum right here. And I've got a bunch of herbs and strawberries planted around the base. And it was leaning a little bit, and I noticed there was a wild grapevine wanting to grow up. So I just let it. And it kind of like, it pulls it. It keeps it from leaning over. I planted it in wood chips, so it's kind of loose soil right there. So once I planted it and started getting top heavy and a lot of growth, more upward growth than roots to hold it in place, and started leaning. So this was about a year or two ago when I planted this one. It's done awesome. Let's see if I've got any more plums. I think I've got some plums over here. Yep, I got a plum right here, another wild plum. Remember, this is the seedling area, seedling fruit trees. Here's a wild plum. And I got these all at the same time and planted them all at the same time, and they were just little seedlings, and they're doing awesome. And I got some cherries. I got a plum over here too. Let me see. If you can see that one right there is a plum. I don't know if I've got any more. I know I've got about 10 back here in the backyard. Here's a little wild plum seedling. Now, I've showed this plum tree in the past. This tree was here when we moved in, and it's over 20-30 feet tall, but it's got that black canker stuff, and it's never fruited. And you can see, look at the graft. That's why I say it's important to always bury the graft if you can. Otherwise, you'll have something like this, and at least if you buried it, you'd allow this to root, and you won't have this big old elephant foot looking thing here. Here's another one of those Chickasaw plums that I bought. And I planted these first before the wild ones, and you've seen how big the wild ones are compared to these. They've taken a lot longer to get going. Only about 3 feet. Here's another one of those Chickasaw plums. That's, my youngest is taller than it. And here's the last wild plum that I have. This is the terrace garden where I've grown the Cherokee pumpkins and a bunch of garlic up there. And it's got a bunch of thorns on it. It's one of those wild ones I dug up. Not sure of the species, but thanks for watching, guys. Check out Edward's channel. These are some of the plums that I have, and I skipped a few, but I wanted to keep the video short. So thanks for watching, guys. Y'all take care.